find a way, and you can dance to this future pop. You won't like it. It's not a good dance,
You can
but
dance
it
if you want to.
is. Yes, you can
Right.
leave your friends behind.
You can leave the beat behind. That's what this
Yeah,
music says.
because if you don't pop, then
Future
if you
Pop
don't.
has already done that for you.
Hey, it's Moo Mammo. And Moo Mammo stands for Mutants and Masterminds Monday. And, it's a little thing we do. We, being Green Ronin, and I have something I want to share, a little update that, well, it doesn't look as though that is right. It is possible that we are streaming in many places, one of them being Kick. We might be streaming on Kick.
We're streaming on Kick?
Yeah.
Great. Now tell me what Kick is.
Kick is an alternative to that other pesky service called Twitch. It's, they're kind of setting themselves up as the sort of opposition. And given today that I'm learning all kinds of stuff about how the license, the agreement that you sign, the terms of service with Twitch says no, none, as my attorney, one RC Beeler says, he represents us in this legal matter, no streaming, multi-streaming at all. You can do any kind of sort of video on demand, but if you're going to stream live, it's Twitch and Twitch alone.
Exclusive?
That's right. Yep. And to that I say, Fi on the the strongly word Fi. Let's see. Oh, hey, look at everybody. Hey, friends. We got a whole crew of people here. Claude's here. Pope's here. I've got to ask.
Hey, look. We're definitely streaming on Kick.
Hey, nice. Can confirm you're streaming on Kick, but they don't do chat share.
Oh.
Okay, well, nice. Thank you, Mayhemcast, for checking that out. Sorry, Kick, if we can't see you, then you are, or if no one else can see you, I think we'll be able to. Yeah. We do hope you enjoy. So, again, who are we? We are the developers of who hang out at Green Ronin Publishing. I am the disembodied voice of Troy and the host of this program called Mutants Masterminds Monday, and it is an opportunity for you to hang out with these two fine friends. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if this is going to work.
I already threw my peace sign. It's too late.
You already threw your what?
I threw up my peace sign already. It's too late.
Your peace sign. Yes. Yes. Well, here we go. Watch this.
Boom. Ta-da.
Did you hear that?
That was a noise. That was scary.
It was a little sound effect I got. Listen, this is Steve Kenson. We call him the Mutants and Master Daddy. This is Alex Thomas. He's the line lead for Mutants and Masterminds at TTRPG. About, it's just the best superhero tabletop roleplay game ever invented, ever.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Right? Yeah.
It is scientifically proven and tested.
Right.
Now, speaking of science, I see behind you have a very dramatic scenario going on. And it was funny, we talked about this subject when we did the planning episode. And then I realized, I don't know what this is about. I mean, I can sort of gauge a little bit. I'm hoping I've gone the right direction with all of our art and stuff. But what do you think?
I think it is perfectly on the nose for what we're going to be talking about today.
Heck yeah. All right, nice. Well, then how about this? Alex, take it away.
Well, everyone, I know we've been talking about Event Horizon for quite some time, and conversations have taken place about Event Horizon even longer than that. When we introduced 3rd edition's Mutants and Masterminds, we came up with a campaign called Emerald City Nights that ended rather catastrophically with a giant black hole consuming the planet of Magnalore, which has created a number of situations that have rippled throughout 3rd edition of M&M in our setting books, from the creation of Starhaven to the way that we've continued to develop Emerald City in our various astonishing adventures. So we're going to talk about the black hole in the room, which is Collapsar.
Collapsar. Yes. I love it. Hey, I just want to say real fast, I want to say hello to Terrace Hughes, which, Terrace, I'm not sure if you're joining us for the first time today. Your name isn't immediately familiar, but welcome nonetheless. We've also got Matthew White is here. Matthew White says, I'm here for whatever the event horizon is. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. So welcome, friends. Glad to see you. Oh, Jacob Blackman's here as well. Why did you give black holes sentience?
Well, that is a. We'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about why that's why there's a black hole with sentience roaming around. But essentially, we have had a giant black hole named Collapsar who destroyed the capital of our largest alien empire and has been hanging out, doing who knows what for the last 10 years since that book came out.
But yeah, I mean, probably absorbing a lot of light.
Right.
Yes. And we are going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and write the sequel to Emerald City Nights, which features the Preserver Stone saga and the defeat of Collapsar, the Devourer.
Wow.
Well, if your heroes are up for it.
Yes, if your heroes are up for it.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's a tall order. Very tall. Quick question. So Collapsar, do we have enough public-facing opportunity or information to talk a little bit about what Collapsar is all about? I mean, I get it, absorbing things and...
Right.
Steve, do you want to talk a little bit about Collapsar?
Sure. So part of the backstory for the Earth Prime setting, way back from the beginning of Freedom City, was that there was an ancient alien species that is now known as the Preservers, and that the Preservers, hundreds of thousands of years ago, went around the universe, tinkering with the evolution of different species, including humans, and they visited a lot of different planets that they thought had the potential for developing life in various ways, and did their little experiments, and amongst other things, led to the potential for humans to develop all of the amazing superpowers that they have in the Earth Prime setting. For the longest time, and then long ago, the Preservers disappeared. They went somewhere else, or something happened to them, and all that was left behind was their artifacts and their various works and the like. For the longest time, we didn't know exactly what the Preservers were trying to preserve the universe from, until we had the adventure in Emerald City Nights, where Telax, preserver artificial intelligence that had been essentially in sleep mode on Earth for countless thousands of years, woke up and followed its initial programming to experiment on humans and see if they could give them superpowers, which resulted indirectly in the Silver Storm, Emerald City, which resulted in a lot of people in Emerald City getting superpowers. And then Telax basically working on the notion that the reason the Preservers were experimenting with superpowered evolved species was because there was this cosmic threat. And that cosmic threat is Collapsar. A mobile, a seemingly intelligent singularity that is roaming through the universe, devouring stars, planets, basically everything.
Now, does Collapsar know that? Is Collapsar committed to? First of all, is Collapsar genderless?
Collapsar would properly be referred to as an it.
Yeah. And so, does Collapsar know that it is creating this trauma and fear, and is it just sort of like a passionless sort of just devourer?
We don't know what Collapsar knows or doesn't know. All we know is that Collapsar has a herald, or a high priest, or number one fan, whatever you want to call him, called Orazon, who is a cosmically powerful being who primarily shows up on inhabited planets to say, guess what? You're all doomed.
Right.
Because
Okay.
He loves
Collapsar is right behind me, and he's coming to eat your planet.
Now, Dominus Ex Machine Machina says an Event Horizon Eminem's answer to the Marvel's Infinity Saga. Is that true? Is that kind of, are we kind of paying homage to that?
There is definitely some homage to the Infinity Saga. We're also paying some homage to Blackest Night and
Mhm.
to a bunch of other big cosmic events from other comic book companies.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. The trope is real. Yeah, I get
Mhm.
it for sure. And then
Yeah,
now,
the reason that the Infinity Saga comparison is being made is because there are 5 Preserver Stones that the heroes in your
Oh.
campaign are going to have to acquire throughout the galaxy of Earth Prime,
Yep.
the Freedomverse.
Yep.
Got you.
Indeed.
That makes perfect sense. And I'll tell you, the chat is on fire talking about Emerald City Nights and getting ready to want to stream and get out there and play Emerald City Nights up until the Event Horizon, which is that's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
For
I like
those
that
of
a
you who
lot.
don't know what Emerald City Nights is, that was our first campaign in Mutants and Masterminds 3rd edition. It was the campaign that came alongside the Emerald City sourcebook around the launch of 3rd edition.
Yes.
So
indeed.
RC asks, will there be any way to connect this with the events of Nether War?
There are things that we're talking about in particular. A couple of the Preserver Stone locations are tied to locations that showed up in Nether War, so we're looking at ways to
Yep.
at least have a sidebar to tell GMs, if you ran Nether War before, this could be a good connection to this. But as we know, magical superhero stuff is often divorced from other superhero stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Indeed.
Let's see here. Okay, funny. Ken's like, now it's time for me to figure out what Emerald City Nights is. We'll drop a link for you, Ken. We're happy
Yes.
for you to fund your knowledge in that. Okay, so Ron,
Yep.
Pat, you know, that's
As
go ahead.
Aaron mentions, we did do a live stream of that campaign on the Untold Stories project. I got to play in that, so I got to play Emerald City Nights for the first time a couple years ago. It was a lot of fun.
Well, and did you know that AJ Rio says the Silver Storm was the first adventure I ever ran for Eminem? I mean, like, there's a lot of opportunities
Awesome.
to check
A
that.
lot of
I love
people.
that. I absolutely love that. Let's see. John says I was allowed to introduce canonical enemies to the preservers in my write-up of the villain emissary.
Mhm.
John, if you say it's those lollipop kids or whatever, the candy children or whatever that is, I'm going to poke my own eyes out. But they were the hierarchy whose civilization may or may not also be extinct. Okay, that is all
Mhm.
right. I like it. Claude
Troy
says,
hates the Lollipop Guild official
no,
status here.
we just talk about them all the time. I love it. I love them. They
Mhm.
sound delicious. Okay,
The Candy
Aaron,
Crew.
Aaron says you can watch the live stream of the campaign. Yeah, that's right. I'm late. I'm here. What did I miss? Well, crash and thrashing. I like that. Got a nice mouth feel. Crash and thrashing.
Right.
You're not late. You're right on time to learn about the Event Horizon, which we are now learning is a sentient it with a hunger, with a deep thirst for matter,
Mhm.
all
Yep.
of it.
And trying to learn and understand what exactly Collapsar's motivations are is one of the big plot points for our campaign.
Yes.
David Bullock, I'm going to say this just to get your bingo sheets out, but the gravy stone?
No.
Nope.
We negotiated about the Gravy Stone. It's
No,
not
we
the
did.
adventure.
But
I like it.
I will say that 3 of the Preserver Stones have already appeared in Mutants and Masterminds products for Earth Prime, and 2 of them have not.
Do we know what they are?
We do.
We do know what they are.
But we being the other wees, the wee wees, what? The chat, like people who are they Easter eggs or are they things that
Well,
you know
I
that?
think the odds are really good that our eagle eyes in the chat already know the 3
No doubt.
known Preserver Stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, I think it would be fun if we don't tell them the 3 known ones and maybe tell them a little bit about the 2 that we created specifically for the event. That way they can sort of guess what else in canon is a potential Preserver Stone.
Ooh,
Interesting
context.
thought.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I'm not going to read that out loud. Matthew White. Let's see. RC says, for those just arriving, Event Horizon will be. Thank you, RC. RC has also dropped a link because he is acting Link Wizard, and it's to the Emerald City Nights PDF that you can take a peek at. Stan says, I represent the Lollipop Guild. All right.
We know Stan.
Yeah,
and you do, and you represent them so well.
It was such a jaunty dance. I love it. And let's see. I am okay. So yeah, and John says Mastermind, Megastar, and Beast of Kilimanjaro also have ties to the Preservers, along with the Farsighters royal family.
Well, the Preservers' fingerprints are all over the Earth Prime
Yeah.
setting.
Yeah. Let's see. The Star Knights and the Black Stars each have one of them. I'll bet, says Aaron. Nice.
We are doing an adventure set in Starhaven to kick everything off, because I know we've all been excited about another Starhaven adventure. So there's a potential link to Siege of Starhaven if you have the Starhaven book. That's another potential campaign in. If you're looking for ways to do this campaign that don't involve running Emerald City Knights first. We recommend doing Emerald City Knights first, but if you don't want to do that, there are other potential
inroads for the adventure. Interestingly enough, the current outline calls for the Starhaven adventure to actually introduce the Preserver Stone that's on Earth.
And I forgot we need to talk about this, but the Magnaforce is involved in some way specifically for RC's need.
We're definitely including Magnaforce in the intro adventure, or at least something connected to Magnaforce.
Nice. You know, so, Drama Dork says, okay, but now I'm just thinking of the short-lived and wild NBC show Emerald City, which I never saw, but I am reminded every time I think of Emerald City Knights, I'm reminded of we have our own superhero that not menaces, but, you know, travels the streets here in Seattle. I haven't seen him for some time. He got into a little bit of legal trouble, but he was literally like a guy who dressed up sort of in a Batman-esque sort of garb.
Oh, what was his name?
It was, what was that? Seattle Hero.
I watched like a 2-hour-long YouTube video about the rise and fall of that guy. Phoenix Jones. That's
Phoenix Jones. Yeah. You know, it turns out that he is a passion for protecting people, but infallible, or not infallible, like, you know, most humans. And Pope, I just want to say to you, we are not calling people in the chat wee-wees. That is not it. Let's see. Yeah, Phoenix Jones, thank you, Stan. And Telex's agent should be involved. Who's Telex?
As we mentioned earlier, Telex is the Preserver AI who basically sets off the Silver Storm.
Yes.
All of the events in Emerald City Knights. Eventually, and spoiler for the end of Emerald City Knights, gets kicked off of Earth and decides to start its own cadre of superpowered, nano-powered cyborgs out in space, like you do.
We have talked about some additional potential backstory for Telex as well in this event.
Indeed.
Yeah, so there's so many things I'm excited about this event. We're talking about the Preservers and potentially they're the reason they left the galaxy, and potentially not necessarily where they went, but how to potentially go after them. We're hanging out in Subterra. We're going to Starhaven.
I was going to say, it's got tendrils kind of.
City. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's got a connections to a whole lot of things.
That's exciting. So here's RC says, so worth asking, what books are needed to run Event Horizon? Will you miss out if you don't have Starhaven? You know, the super, like, are the books existing in our library that people are going to want to make sure they dust off or buy?
My intention is for you to only need the Deluxe Heroes Guide and this campaign book to run the campaign.
Nice.
Full stop. Right. But again, having the other books would provide additional context, would give you more opportunities as a GM to expand things if you want to make it longer than the adventures we're doing. To know more about the backstory, all that fun stuff.
That'll also keep us flush in artisanal cheeses. So yeah,
I only laughed because Simon Wentworth basically almost said the exact same thing, including the words "additional context." So
see, Simon knows what's up.
Simon's got this. We don't even have to be here.
I got to tell you, there's a real resonance going on here. Like, it just feels right on all levels. That is a exciting space to be in. Let's see. I want to make sure. We talked about that, and
David, I'm grabbing a pen to write that down because having a setting brought to current documents is probably a good thing just to have.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. David mentions, for those of you listening, at some point in the future, will there be a brought to current updated setting document that includes these plot lines?
Yeah. we are definitely taking into account that Event Horizon has the potential to have a significant impact on the Earth Prime setting.
And David, since Alex had to grab a pen, you will have a significant impact on the bingo sheet if people are playing along.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Go for
Matthew,
it.
to answer your question, Omega is not directly involved in Event Horizon. I have thoughts as to why it is Omega was involved in Black Star creating the Black Dart, and that will probably be touched upon, but I don't think Omega will make a direct appearance.
I like it.
Yeah. And it's cool that you guys are keying into the Black Stars and the potentially the Star Knights, because that is sort of the Blackest Night homage we're looking at, is a big fight between the Blackguards and the Star Knights.
David says, I do more
Let's
than
see.
gravy at Nick jokes.
So John Pologic mentions Curator, Exile, and StarCon. I can definitely tell you that at least 2 of those villains are involved.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Somebody's calling for a villain roster. I don't know.
It's a long list.
It is a very
to be
long
honest.
list.
I dig it. So Claude is asking, how is it going to be released, as multiple adventures and then a singular book with extra juicy bits at the end, or?
And typically we've done big campaigns like this as individual PDF releases leading up to be compiled as a book. So that's probably the way we're going to do it, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know exactly the details.
Okay.
Yeah, that still works. But I mean, I think that Nether War is a pretty good model for this kind of campaign. So you can probably figure we're gonna, use what we've learned from Nether War to build this out.
A Game Master Toolbox says, will you make more adventures? It seems like adventures sell really well.
Exactly what we're talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, this campaign is intended to be 6 adventures at the moment, 6 published adventures.
Yes.
Which, if I run it, I will no doubt find a way to stretch out to 54 episodes.
I was going to say,
if anyone can.
If anyone can of you. And so when we say how long it is, so 6 adventures long in a span of time, are we talking 3 hours per or more, or?
It's probably going to take 2 or 3 sessions per adventure.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
They're intended to be pretty meaty adventures. So.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit longer than our typical Astonishing Adventures.
Nice. Now,
and we want to take people from PL 11 to 12 and end on PL 13, so we get the odd numbers a little bit of love too, because I know people were asking about that.
Well, interesting.
Plus, Emerald City Knights ends at PL 11, so it's a good place to pick up directly from there and move on.
Place to start.
Yeah, and so I'm going to drop. So I'm not sure if this is the link that you dropped, RC, but I'm going to drop it again, just as or for the first time, is the Emerald City Knights overview PDF. That's $0 that you can kind of grab. Rama Pat asked, was Emerald City Knights ever released as a single volume? And it was, wasn't it?
It was definitely released as part of the 3 PDFs for Emerald City when it was all collected. I don't know if that was ever published as a hard copy, though.
I'm not sure if it's not. It hasn't been released as a separate print book. In print, it is part of the Emerald City source book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're feeling really adventurous, you could take some of the stuff from the new Astonishing Adventures Assembled book and mix those in with your Event Horizon stuff and really have a long campaign.
Indeed.
Now, if we were to create merch for this, what is appropriate? Like just hyper dense metal that you just sort of a black hole in a box,
it's hard to talk about some of that without spoilers.
Ooh, fair enough.
Because there are definitely some elements of the adventure that may have some potential in that regard, but it's hard to talk about them without giving them away.
Yeah.
So Sean Dugan asks a question, a good one, I think, that, perhaps we'll see where we go with this, but Sean says, if you don't mind me asking, we don't, Sean, every question you ask is very important. It haunts us in our dreams. What changed regarding the profitability of adventures? I remember, I guess, actually about 10 or so years back, thank you so much for having such a long memory, when it was said that they lost money.
I remember people saying that too. That was a little bit before my time, but I do remember that often being something when I would ask, why don't we have more adventures?
And I think that RC largely points out the key thing is the format as far as that goes. When we're producing shorter adventures, primarily in PDF, then our costs are considerably lower, and we can more afford to produce adventures
Mm-hmm.
because they are certainly a key element of support for a game line. Especially these days when folks don't always have enough time to write all of their own adventures and would prefer to adapt an existing adventure. It's good to have a strong library of adventures to draw from. So part of the reason, one of the key things we really wanted to focus on when Crystal came on board initially as developer was creating the Astonishing Adventures line so that M&M would have a more robust line of adventures for it. And being able to do them in PDF has helped us to be able to do that more economically,
Right.
so that they have a better break-even point than trying to do published adventures, especially because adventures either tend to be too short to publish in print economically, or they're too long in terms of just developing them as a product. They're just a huge project.
Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Crystal specifically brought me in to be the Astonishing Adventures developer when she asked me to come on to join the company. And I have always found that having adventures and running the game is the best way to convert people into players of the game.
This seems to, that maps, I think.
That's one of my favorite things about conventions. It's one of my favorite things about one-shots. It's getting people to sit down and actually get to play with the Fiddly Bits. They get to see how fun the game is, and they get to experience. I think there's a little bit of learning curve when it comes to reading the book for the first time that doesn't happen when you sit down to play a game somewhere else, or
So
you run
true.
an adventure with pre-gens.
Yeah, which is also a shout out to folks who are running games for us, or running Mutants Masterminds at becoming conventions. That just is incredible, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Always.
Game masters who run games at cons or at game stores are still far and away our best ambassadors for introducing folks to tabletop role playing in general and to Mutants and Masterminds in specific.
And I find the folks that are doing that are just, there are other coming from the games industry. Oftentimes, the people who are offering to be the center of help and sort of in that space are maybe not the most qualified folks to be doing that. But in our space, these folks are like, you've got Sean Dugan coming in and saying like, well, 10 years ago on this date, there's a long memory and great skill, and it's truly appreciated. I wanted to also say this. Claude asks, have you all considered making a short printed M&M adventure for things like Free RPG Day? We're a bit late, and we have talked about it in the past for sure. Absolutely.
We have. Usually the issue with Free RPG Day, at least for us, is that it tends to get taken up with newer projects. And when we want to premiere a new game or a significant new product, Free RPG Day is a great opportunity to do that. And that usually is where that slot tends to go more often than not when we have time to do Free RPG Day at all. Honestly.
That's right. Yeah. We always talk about it, but it just ends up being that one thing that is just a step too far from the dev schedule, and everybody's like,
and to be blunt, at least for the last few years, Free RPG Day is an advertising expense. It's not a money-making product.
That's right.
So these days we just haven't had the bandwidth to do anything significant for it.
We love it, and we did something. I think it was either last year or year before last. Didn't we do the Blue Rose?
We did the Blue Rose Quick Start for Free RPG Day.
Yeah.
And we heard from a lot of people that it was one of the most robust products for Free RPG Day.
Thick.
So which was great, and I'm glad people enjoyed it. But sometimes it's a challenge just in terms of time and resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I'm really passionate about is being able to provide some free adventures for game masters that want to run games at game stores or conventions.
Ooh, I like that.
we it hasn't manifested yet, but one thing I want to do is make sure there are, like, you can get the Freedom League as pre-gen characters. You can have an adventure. You can be set up for success.
Oh, I like
if
that.
you want to do that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. So it would be kind of a kit and maybe sort of unique content that that would be, for conventions and people running games. I love that. That's
Yeah,
great.
and just as a fun reward for people who are willing to do
treat.
that for us, because it is the biggest benefit to us in getting people to play this game.
Indeed. A couple of people have asked about Astonishing Adventures Assembled.
Yeah.
And it is literally one piece of text away from being done.
It'll be done tonight after
Yes,
this.
in fact.
And then
there
it'll
you
be
go.
off to the printer, I think is where it's going at right after us.
Done in this
yeah,
phase, to be
It
clear.
is
Yeah.
basically ready.
Yeah, production
that's
basically
exciting.
just needs one thing, and then we are good to go.
Nice. Well, that's good news. That's really good news. And so the printing, I mean, if we had to put a time on it, really, what are we looking at?
I have honestly
like
no idea.
8, 9 months.
No,
12
wait
months.
definitely before Gen Con. Probably
I'm joking.
sometime in July.
Yes.
Probably
I'm joking.
sometime
We
in
didn't
July.
say definitely because that would mean we're cursed. But it isn't.
Yeah,
It would
the
be
PDF
crazy.
will probably be ready to go after.
Oh, the
I
PDF
turn
will
this
be
in.
ready quickly. Once it goes off to print.
Yeah, it's not like it's yeah. This is the last part of layout, so it's looking pretty,
So,
right?
Yep.
Yep. Good.
Ramapat, there are 6 adventures in that collection.
Nice. I do want to say that there are some folks who have mentioned in unison, merch would be these, stones.
Mm-hmm.
I do
We
like
would
it.
love to see that. I don't know what our plastic doodad budget is, but I'm here for it.
That thought has occurred. Let's just say.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the preserver stones a little bit more.
Can we?
Let's just say I have already given careful thought to the shape and color of all of them.
Okay, so I'm curious. Are they alternating shapes? Do they have variations, or are they all pretty
different shapes?
They all have
okay,
different
I like
shapes.
it.
Yes.
I like it.
Should we talk about the exact shapes, Steve? I feel like we could talk about that without getting into too much trouble.
That's your call, Alex.
Well, the 5 stones are the Platonic solids. So we have one that is a 20-sided shape, one that's a 12-sided shape, 8-sided, 6-sided, and 4-sided. Similar to the dice in your dice bag.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, real quick. I'm sorry. I just want to, Rick, welcome. You didn't miss it. You are just a tiny bit behind the announcement, but Event Horizon, a great series of events or adventures that they're working on. At the center of which is a giant. I almost said Mothra. That's not right.
Funny you should mention Mothra, though. Actually,
really?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but I'm not going to tell you why.
We'll get to that.
Okay, all right. I'm patient. Anyway, so you made it right in time, friend. And let me see if there's another. Will this be releasing before or after that time travel trilogy you mentioned a while back?
Oh, almost certainly after.
Yeah.
This will be releasing after. The time travel trilogy is editing right now, so it'll be coming back and get ready for layout very soon.
Right. I was going to say, time travel trilogy has been written and Event Horizon hasn't, so I'm pretty sure that it's going to head start.
Simon says, "Is the texting question the orc license?" No,
it is not.
No,
tis not. And then let me see here. Will that be sold on your store or as a print on demand? This is gonna be
Astonishing Adventures Assembled will be on the store.
Yes.
And through distribution.
And
a book though, right? A book and PDF.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. And Rick, yes, please, merch, t-shirts, etc. All right, Rick, I'll make you a t-shirt.
We already have some t-shirts, but we should do more.
We should do many, many more.
I have my Green Renine Pride shirt.
You got some compliments on that earlier in the show. In addition, we do have Mutants and Master Panties, which right now it is a line of 1.
Mm-hmm.
But we should probably expand that list of heroes on panties.
RC would like everything to tie into Another War.
Clearly.
Absolutely everything.
The Chrono Crisis won't explicitly tie into Event Horizon, but one of the stones might get a mention in Chrono Crisis. as a potential Easter egg for the next campaign. And we'll have in the sidebar, if you started your campaign with the time travel crisis, good for you. Also, come over here and try Event Horizon.
So RC actually wants everything to tie into Event Horizon.
That makes sense. Also, eggs.
A lot of things will.
Yeah, but a lot of
not
things
everything, but a lot of things.
I dig it.
This campaign is the biggest event I think that we have in our setting for a long time.
Yeah, I would say so.
Nate, I'm with you.
A lot of huge apocalyptic things going on. There's going to be a lot of different changes to the status quo following the end of the adventure. So, yeah, this is going to be one of those big campaigns that's like
shakes it up.
Yeah, shakes up the whole setting and maybe leads into something else. But I don't want to say that to get you all too excited.
Well, I'm just imagining that if a big hungry black hole comes swinging into your universe and absorbs you and then, digests you and then, expels you, then I'm certain that's a big shakeup. Things really get mixed up and changed there. But Nate, I got to tell you, friend, a Moo Memo mug, we got to do some Moo Memo merch.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great, right?
And we got to do that.
That would be good. I like that a lot.
We'll do some Moo Memo merch. Let's see. We've got
but the stones. We keep getting lost in the stones.
That's right. I'm sorry. Please continue on the stones. I'm so sorry.
So people have guessed pretty well so far about the known three. Folks have mentioned the Star Knights.
Yes. So the Star Stone that belongs to the Star Knights.
Yep.
Okay. The Night Stone.
And people have mentioned the Blackguard and the Night Stone. And I'm sure folks have. I saw a couple of folks mention the Farsiders. And the Moonstone, as far as that goes.
Yes.
So I think people have pretty clearly outlined the known three stones.
Right. And then how many are there again? There's
five.
Five. Okay, got you.
There are two others.
The first other one, and y'all are going to be really excited about this. It ties in to Kaiju Island in a lot of different ways and a couple of the other interesting places on Earth Prime itself. This is the stone that's on Earth.
Thus the mention of Mothra being perfectly appropriate is Kaiju actually have a lot to do with the start of this adventure series.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the Life Stone is what we're calling it. And it's sort of as the Star Stone and the Night Stone are reflections of each other, the Moonstone and the Life Stone are reflections of each other. So the Moonstone is a big psychic power source. The Life Stone is all about biomass and physical power. I put in my notes that it's the Cronenberg Stone, so that'll be fun for other people.
Claus says, Farsider, I hardly know her.
Right.
Oh, dear. Yes, Pope says you had me at Kaiju Island.
Yeah, so the Life Stone has been hidden on Earth, lost on Earth, really, not hidden on Earth. It's been lost on Earth. It's one of the stones that isn't in the hand of a powerful faction you've got to go and convince to give it to you.
Okay.
So it's been responsible for a lot of the weird stuff on Earth Prime that's been oozing out of our planet ever since we climbed out of the sea.
Yep.
I want to say real quick, RC dropped a link to the Mutants Masterminds Reddit, and I love that Reddit. They're really engaged in character creation and that kind of stuff. And the mods are great. The kidney stone of Odin, says Nate. But I'm a big fan, so make sure you check them out for sure. Great place to meet some people who may be having the same questions you do.
John, I think it would be accurate to say the fifth stone is in fact the stone to rule them all. And personally, I think that's about all we should really say about it.
Yeah.
I think so too.
But Sly and the Family Stone makes an appearance, a musical appearance. So do with that what you will. Let's see.
We made really sure to make sure none of these are Marvel stones. So you're not going to have Infinity Gem rehashes.
But you may have the Forever Stone. No, I'm kidding.
That fifth one, I'm really excited about the adventure around the fifth stone and everything the fifth stone does. There's a lot of fun stuff.
Cheese stone?
Agreed.
And I'm excited about what happens when you put the stones together. But I don't want to spoil too much about that.
Yes.
Exciting. Okay, this is great. And RC says, and we could all help with growing the Green Ronin subreddit. Honestly, you could all go to the subreddit and hang out there. It's largely a placeholder, primarily because it's not our main source of sharing details, and but you do go over there, talk about Green Ronin and how wonderful we are, and we will join you in time. The gravy clump. What is it, clump?
Something
Well,
you
I
have
will
to
now
avoid
call
that
it.
in your gravy.
Yeah, exactly. That's bad gravy. John says, well, I will now call it the Sovereign Stone. There we go.
I think we might have trademark issues with that, John.
I think we might, yeah. Also, I want to say, and you know why I'm going to say this, sir, because you are very smart. But Jacob, silence on that. Don't get that crowd all whipped up into a frenzy. It'll be like a bunch of piranha. Oranon says, preserver stones or forbidden rock candy. You decide.
Anything's rock candy if you're brave enough.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. The
Yeah,
ruler
I will
ruby.
say the fifth stone is the one you don't want to step on. It's the pointiest one.
Everything is candy if you are a giant black hole that is eating everything.
You know, I wonder what we taste like as a general sort of bite. Like if you take a bite out of Earth or just our part of the galaxy, is it like...
Right. It's
Yeah,
it's not good, I'll tell you that.
No,
Sewagey.
Yeah, under notes of sewage and with a top note of screaming? Huh.
Right?
Pope says oh no, I'm not reading that.
I was
Sir.
gonna say, he posted that just so you would read it.
Honestly,
Into that.
I almost did too because it has some rhyming, and that I'm attracted to rhyming like a moth to flame. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Milky chocolate. You think so,
Moonstone
Nate?
is blue raspberry.
Delicious.
I will say Steve and I have done a lot of planning, but the flavor of the stones did not enter into our
No, it didn't.
our discussion.
So there's still time to determine that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so excited that we're able to do this program, because I feel like it really rounds out your genius and brings it down a couple pegs. Like, it makes it more accessible for folks, which I appreciate.
I will say thematically, some of the themes we're looking to explore with the adventure relate to accountability and responsibility and the notion of sacrifice. Those are the three big ideas that we're sort of approaching with the conflicts involved in the story and in some of the backstory dealing with the preservers themselves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. GM Jones, you suggest Moonberry.
It's fair.
And I like
merch.
That Event Horizon is definitely going to pull together a bunch of different threads in the wider sort of our Earth Prime universe, things that we have had around since the end of both Emerald City Nights and Cosmic Handbook particularly. There's a lot of plot seeds in there that are going to get tied together or tied into Event Horizon.
Yeah, we've come a long way to make this event happen, and I think it's going to be really special.
I love it. It sounds like a bunch of really fun connections and some surprises, and as well as what is that? Did you say Warden Maximus says maple?
Maple. It's a moon apple.
Oh, a moon apple. Is that really a thing? A maple?
It is at the Untold Stories Project.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so it's 2:48. We have got. Are there other aspects of this that we want to make sure we cover on? Anything that we want to sort of any managing of the expectations, exciting of the neurons, whatever.
I will say that although obviously folks can stay tuned to Mutants and Masterminds Mondays for updates and discussions about what we're working on and everything that's going on, that folks who are on the Mutants and Masterminds Patreon are probably going to get the inside scoop on things from our developers chats and the like, our regular updates, and probably hints from things like Omniversal variant playtest material and the like that will hint at some of the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. So
I don't know if I should
not in on the Patreon. It would be a great time to get started.
Yeah,
I got it. So, Steve, that is the perfect transition into this next bit, which is talking about. So the three of us met, and we deconstructed all of what we're currently doing and mixed and matched, had some brilliant ideas, and came up with what I'm feeling is a pretty solid plan. But do you two want to kind of touch on a little bit of that, or at least maybe the process? If not, maybe want to keep some of this stuff a little bit of a secret.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think honestly we could devote a whole show to that.
Oh, certainly we will. Yeah. But folks can look forward to a really thoughtful reworking of what it is we do and how it's done, and with some new twists and facets of the. It's just going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're coming up with some very diverse content to give to the Patreon that is different than what we have been releasing.
Things we've never done before.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And conveniently, some of it is focused on more adventures.
Yeah, absolutely. And for
more polls.
I was just gonna say, for Pete's sake, we're getting some more polls, you weirdos. We will get polls, the polls.
Patreon's enthusiasm for democracy.
Yes, they do love. They really do love a ranked choice voting.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. And beyond new content, yes, Claude, polls. Yes, you will get polls. But beyond new content, it is sort of a new approach to some of that stuff. It's not just sort of, oh, look, new things to talk about. It's new ways to engage with it and new ways to leave your mark on it, so to speak.
Yeah. Hey, if Troy comes up with a way to do live polling on, Mumemo, we'll definitely do it if the technology is there.
So what's funny about that is that I have been, because of there are some limitations that we face with Restream. Great service. We've used it now for 3 years, I think, or going into 3 years. But we get a very narrow innovation space, and what you see is pretty much about as innovative as I can get. But there is another. I'm looking at StreamYard. And StreamYard has live polls, and StreamYard has a way to get, and OBS does not have a way to do this, but StreamYard has a way for us to do calls. So people could call us live on the air and, be awful.
Cool.
Let's see. Jarrett asks, Jarrett Jackson, that's great. Sounds like you're someone straight from the world. Let's see. I may have missed this, but will the Ultimate tie into these adventures? Will the Ultima tie into the adventures? At all? Would there be Ultima engaged in this?
No plans yet, but you never know.
Dominus Ex Machina says, any new alien races being featured beyond what we've read about in the Cosmic Handbook, Super Team Handbook, and/or Guide to Starhaven?
Nothing planned to explicitly focus on a new alien species, but we'll be running into some new Star Knights, some new Blackguards, all sorts of people from outer space. So there's a chance that we'll run into some individuals.
There's going to be a lot of stuff out in space, so chances of encountering more aliens is good.
Yeah, and any new aliens we come up with, we'll release as we'll add as an appendix or something for the Cosmic Handbook.
Now, I happen to know that there's one new alien being introduced to the world, and that alien is. Now, what is it? Varlak, from Planet 9 or something. No, that's not it at all. It's the alien that I'm playing in.
I think your name is Pentar, I think.
Pente? What is it? RC. So we're Alex and I are playing in a what are we called? The Willful Rascals?
The Redacted Rangers.
There we go, Redacted Rangers. I'm really looking forward to this. The cast is so fun. I mean, they're just a blast. Pintar from Celtron 3. Oh, I was so off.
Oh, Celtron 3, sure.
Oh, wait, that's not a thing is it?
Well, I mean, it's way classier than Celtron 4.
I don't like Celtron 4.
Celtron 4 is a dump.
It is, and they're so because in my canon, Celtron 4 are the ones that are doing all the cattle wrangling and probing, and I just think that's just grody. Right. Alex, you're playing. What are you playing? You're playing a god, I believe.
Well, a demigod, but I actually did my recording.
A mere demigod.
I did my recording last week or the week before.
You know what I'm doing?
My recording 2 weeks ago, and
I'm doing my recording next week.
Yep, I played Beowulf Odinson, the outlaw son of Odin, who is Odin's backup plan to stop Loki from committing Ragnarok. He's really cool. He's a cowboy and a Viking.
Well, during our program, I'm always excited by the Stan's,
Stanogram.
The stanogram. Thank you. Stanogram. That's so good. Dang.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Orandon.
Yes, absolutely.
Take care.
And I want to share with you this stanogram once I get to it. Hold on here. What do I have? A mess. Okay.
Mess.
There we go. And yeah, this is we got to do something, a compendium of these works, because they are certainly a lot of fun. One of the challenges that we have during this program is that I end up at the end of it with 80,000. There we go. 80,000 tabs open.
Right. Which is
but I figured it out.
An actual live view of Troy's brain.
That's right. Well, hey, okay. A sentient black hole. What could possibly be its motivation? I just want to be seen. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. And
Stan,
part of the visible universe.
Stan, you have hinted at some of the larger conflict of the story.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Stan has a very, very deep understanding.
Yeah. Yes. It's Stan's he's in the zeitgeist.
Yep. A lot of cosmic entities in our setting have opinions about what Collapsar is up to, but nobody has been able to ask Collapsar directly.
Right.
RC says, for those interested, we are expecting the Redacted Rangers episodes to start releasing towards the end of this month and stretching into mid-July.
Excellent.
And beyond, if we have anything to do with it. Yeah. Stanogram, I do like that. Yeah, Stanogram is great, and I think we'll make a little graphic, too.
That's absolutely yours to use, Stan.
And RC says, Troy, you just said today you were good to record on Wednesday, so that's concerning. I'm playing a bit, sir. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
Troy actually forgot, but now he remembers.
What are we doing here? What's happening? Am I dreaming? This is a nightmare, isn't it? Why don't I have any clothes on? Let's see. Steve, what do you got cooking in the world of Steve Kenson?
Well, for folks who are looking for more aliens, I just dropped the second half of an big article on weird aliens for superhero games on my Patreon, patreon.com/Steve Kenson.
Love it.
With inspirational art by the one and only Dan Hauser. That was a great project where I basically just said, hey, Dan, draw a bunch of weird aliens, and I will make up stuff about them. Otherwise, hard at work on various Green Ronin projects. I've got Valiant adventures on the brain right now, and I'm doing my very best not to obsess about Event Horizon, so I can focus on getting Valiant stuff done.
Oh no, I foiled our plans.
And also working on some fun setting stuff forthcoming for Fantasy Age 2nd Edition.
Got to tell you, friends, here's a little inside tip. Twitter is a garbage fire, but if you want a sort of respite, a sort of oasis in a desert of just bad takes, stop by twitter.com/skenson, because Steve's a delightful tweeter.
Yes, and you can watch me rant about the state of the world.
That's right. That's right. The hero we need. Alex, what's cooking with you?
I'm in crunch mode. Origins is next week.
Yeah.
That's right.
I am hard at work getting everything ready for that. And I know we had a wonderful stream last Tuesday for the joys of game mastering.
Yes, it was wonderful.
And we mentioned in stream that we were going to be doing that. We're going to aim for every other week. But unfortunately, next week is Origins. So I think I'm going to go live tomorrow night, too, to do some more Origins prep work.
Love it.
Talking about the other adventure I'm running at Origins, which is a Stalingrad World War II adventure with aliens and monsters. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, is it Origins the one where you have 40 hero teams playing in the same space and there's actual physical violence?
Yeah, well, hopefully not, but yes. The Hades Invasion is our big event at Origins this year. It's going to have 25 players and 7 game masters working together to stop Hades from sucking Earth Prime down into the underworld so he can roll it without breaking the pact.
That Hades.
And it's elimination rounds, Alex?
No, it's everybody's working together to stop Hades. So everybody has their own
Oh.
adventure that they're on.
So it's a giant crossover.
There's a giant.
See you next
crossover.
week, Ron Mapat.
Yeah, there will be villains from across Hades's army of minions, and some of the heroes from each table will be pulled to come and fight Hades himself towards the end of the event.
Nice.
Well, Ken Pham says that stream was awesome, and I got to tell you, the numbers prove that out. People are eating it up. They love it, love it, love it. And so folks are coming to hang out with you tomorrow night. Is there something they might want to bone up on? You want to crack open something from their Mutants and Masterminds library to...
If you want to crack open Golden Age, we'll be dealing with 1940s superhero stuff. If you haven't had a chance to read my Titan City books yet, that's okay. The game will be taking place in that universe. But
go buy them, you jerks.
Right. And read them before tomorrow night.
Read them. Buy a few. Presents for family. GM Jones is going to be at Origins also. That's great.
Yes, indeed.
And we're right at time here, but I do want to say this. For next Thursday, we are going to have on Thursday some guests who are actually, engaged in the Age Creators Lens and streaming and all that kind of good stuff. And so we'll firm that up later in the week. And finally, big news for folks. By the time we do Thursday, people will have a very interesting insight into things like rules and licenses and the like. And so keep your eyes open for all that good stuff. And thank you for the link, RC, to alexanderwrites.com/Titan-City-Chronicles so that people can pick that up.
I think that blog I need to update.
You're like, oh, great.
It's been a whole pandemic since I put an entry in there. I should probably go fix that.
Just take the dates off. No one will know.
Terrible about updating my blog, too.
Me too. I don't even have one. What I do have is an immense amount of respect for you two. Thank you so much for hanging out every Monday with these fine folk in chat. Chat, always a pleasure to, endure your shenanigans. Pope says, so the announcement wasn't the friends we made along the way? Maybe.
Well, Pope, in a way, this story could end with the friends you made along the way.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one thing about Event Horizon I'm most excited about, is there is potential for it not to end in a fight.
Maybe it ends in a big music festival. I don't know what I'm talking about. But hey, everybody, have a great rest of your week. And also remember, you got an idea, you got a notion, you got something that you want to add, you want to bring something to the table. You can do that by sending a note to Let's Play at greenronin.com. And you know what? You could be like our friend Dominic, who is creating an entire story called Crisis, and we're in it, and we're in it to win it. It'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. Everyone else, we will talk to you soon. Have a great week. Goodbye.